Getting your first client isn't nearly as hard as you think. You're just stuck focusing on the wrong things. So let me show you how to make it happen in the next 10 days. You might be skeptical, and honestly, you should be, but I know exactly what I'm talking about. At the start of 2024, I launched a lead generation agency with zero experience, no online presence, no testimonials, nothing. Within just 1 year, I'd signed over 50 clients, grew past $100,000 a month, and grossed more than $1 million in revenue. So if you're looking for the real, cut the bullshit steps to land your first client, this is exactly how I do it if I had to start over today. In this video, I'll walk you through the exact 7 steps you need to take to go from zero to landing your first client. We'll cover everything, how to craft the right offer, what tools you need, where to find the leads, what to say in your outreach, and how to actually close those deals. Even if you have no experience, no case studies, and no online presence, you'll walk away knowing exactly what to do and in what order to sign your first client in the next 10 days. Let's start with what's probably the most important thing, the offer. If your offer doesn't make a business more money, cut costs, or save time, you're going to have a hard time selling it. Now, think about what business owners see in their inbox every day. Their inbox is a graveyard of pitches full of vague, generic offers nobody's really waiting for. Things like, let me manage your social media, I can improve your branding, I'll write blog posts for you. It all kind of blurs together. There's nothing concrete or urgent about it. So let's make this as easy as possible and build your offer around the one thing every business wants, which is growth. Growth means more leads, more booked calls, more revenue. There isn't a business owner alive who doesn't want that. Now, if you promise growth and take away all the risk, your offer becomes a no-brainer, even if you have zero proof. So you might be wondering, how do you remove all the risk for your clients? Well, simple, by tying your offer to results. That means the client only pays for what matters, which in this case would be qualified sales meetings. If they don't get actual results, if the lead does show up to the meeting, they don't pay you a cent. Put yourself in their shoes. If someone said to you, I'll bring you ready to buy clients and you only pay per meeting that actually happens, would you turn that down? I can promise you that you would not turn that down. There's no way. It is the easiest decision you'll probably ever make. And the theory behind why this works is simple. Alex Hormozi wrote a great book about it called $100 Million Offers, and you've probably heard of it. In that book, he lays out the value equation for creating irresistible offers. It goes like this. Value is dream outcome times likelihood of achievement divided by time delay times effort and sacrifice. For those confusing this with actual math, what does this actually mean? To make your offer irresistible, you want to maximize 2 things. You want to maximize the dream outcome, what they want most, and you want to minimize how long it takes and how much effort or risk is required for them. If you have zero proof, your likelihood of achievement is low, well, close to zero in their eyes. So then you need to push the other variables as high as possible. That's why you promise big value, deliver it as fast as possible, and make it completely done for them so there's zero effort on their end. Even with no track record, this stacks the equation in your favor and makes your offer hard to say no to. So if I were you, just starting out, I'd fill it in the following way. I help, target audience, because we put a pin in it, get 10 qualified sales meetings in 30 days. You only pay if the lead actually shows up. It's simple, it's concrete, and it's risk-free for the client. And that is exactly how you create an offer that any business will take seriously, even if you have zero proof. You could literally copy this offer, send it to 1,000 business owners, and I guarantee at least a few will want to hop on a call. Now, with your offer dialed in, let's move on to the next step. Let's get your tech stack set up, the minimum tools you need to get your first client. There's really no reason to overcomplicate this part. We don't need anything fancy, just a simple, cost-effective system that lets us reach decision makers at scale. After all, we're starting from zero, so chances are you don't have a ton of money to throw around anyway. So what do you actually need to get started? Well, first of all, you'll need a bunch of domains and inboxes because we want to get in front of people as fast as possible. So the plan is to send 250 emails per day. To do that safely, you'll need 5 domains and 10 inboxes. 2 inboxes per domain. You might be wondering why. Well, if you send too many emails from a single inbox, you get flagged as spam pretty quickly. The sweet spot to me and for me is 25 emails a day per inbox. So 10 inboxes gets you to 250 emails a day, which flies under the radar and keeps your deliverability high. Cost-wise, domains are about $12 each, so $60 for 5. Inboxes are around $6 each a month, so $60 for 10. In total, about $120 to get this set up. Next, you'll need some software. First, you need leads to send to. The best bang for your buck is Apollo. It is a massive database where you can filter and scrape millions of business contacts. Apollo costs $49 a month. The free version won't cut it here because you need volume to hit your numbers, and the free version will only allow you to scrape 25 leads a day, which won't get you anywhere. Next, you of course need a way to actually send your emails, and that is where a ESP like Instantly comes in. You connect your inboxes, upload your leads, and instantly handles the sending and campaign management from a single dashboard. Pick the cheapest plan. It is $37 a month, and it's all you need for now. Lastly, to reach hundreds of decision makers a day without spending hours on manual tasks, you need N8N. This is the tool that ties your whole system together. With N8N, you can automate every repetitive step, so you're never wasting time on grunt work. For outreach, I use 3 main workflows. First, there's an automation that scrapes leads from Apollo, filters out duplicates, and drops them straight into your CRM. Second, I have a workflow that personalizes cold emails at scale using AI. Every email feels like it was written just for the person receiving it, even though it all runs on autopilot day in, day out. And lastly, N8N manages my inboxes and handles replies, so I never miss a response. You could build these automations yourself. I have videos on my channel explaining each one step by step. But if you want to save yourself a lot of time, just click the link in the description to join my school community. You'll get access to these workflows and everything else you need to get your first client. So since N8N has a free 14-day trial and we're getting our client within 10 days, all in for about $200 in your first month, you've got everything you need to reach thousands of decision makers practically on autopilot. With the tech stack covered, now it's time to complete your offer template and decide exactly who you're targeting. If you want results fast, and who doesn't, don't try to help everyone. So what should you do instead? Well, that's where the next step comes in. Step 3, picking a niche. Picking one type of client is called niching down. Niching down simply means focusing all your efforts on helping a specific kind of business instead of trying to be everything to everyone. It is powerful for 3 reasons. First, you can use language and examples that make you look like an insider, not just another outsider with a very generic pitch. Second, you can tailor your offer so it actually fits what those businesses need instead of blasting a one-size-fits-all promise that doesn't really land. And third, it makes your outreach way easier. Research, writing emails, and even sales calls are a lot simpler when you know exactly who you're talking to. Think of it this way. A restaurant that tries to serve pizza, sushi, burgers, and tacos usually isn't great at any of them. But a pizza place that just focuses on pizza will or can have people line up out the door. Because when you want pizza, you go to the place that's known for it, not the one that tries to do everything. So what does this look like in practice? Well, let me give you a few examples of niches that work really well for a lead generation offer. First of all is marketing agencies. Their whole business is built on bringing in new clients. So if you offer them more booked calls or qualified leads, you are speaking their language. They're always looking to grow, and your offer in this case is a perfect fit. Second is recruiting firms. These companies make money by connecting businesses that need to hire. So more qualified meetings means more placements and more revenue. It's a pain point you can solve pretty much directly. Third is SaaS companies, especially B2B SaaS. These businesses are always looking for more demo calls, more qualified pipeline, and more users. They're used to buying growth and are often open to performance-based offers. You can pick one of these 3 or just think of an industry you already know. The key is to decide quickly and commit. If it's not a fit, you can always switch it up. You learn fastest by doing, not just by waiting. So to recap, because I really want to nail this down, don't try to be everything to everyone. Generalists get ignored, specialists get noticed and hired. Niching down lets you speak the right language, solve the right problems, and instantly stand out even if you have 0 proof or testimonials. Getting specific makes everything easier because you'll know who to contact, you'll know what to say, and how to win trust fast. Now that we've locked in your target audience, you can finally complete your offer template. The I help target audience get 10 qualified sales meetings in 30 days. You only pay if the lead actually shows up. With your audience and offer clear, it is time to go out and actually find the right people and get their emails so you can start your outreach for real. Step 4 is simple. You need a list of decision makers to email, otherwise no one will ever see your offer. That means finding the right people inside your niche or inside your industry, not just random employees, but the actual people who can say yes to your offer. Luckily, finding the right people to contact isn't nearly as hard as it sounds. We already mentioned Apollo. It's a massive lead database with hundreds of millions of contacts, and it lets you filter down to exactly the decision makers in your niche. Here's how to use it to pull a quality lead list in just a few clicks. Let's use marketing agencies that I named in the step before as our example. First, log into Apollo and head over to the people page. Start by setting the job title to CEO. This way, you're making sure your email lands with the person who can actually say yes to your offer. You could also use founder or managing director if you want to cast a slightly wider net, but CEO is always a safe starting point. Next, set the email status to verified. There is simply no point in reaching out to dead inboxes, and this keeps your bounce rate low and your sender reputation clean. For location, pick United States or whichever country makes most sense for you and your offer. This keeps your outreach relevant and avoids any awkward language or time zone mismatches. Then narrow the company size to 10 to 100 employees. For me, this makes a lot of sense, and it will also make a lot of sense for you once I explain it. Smaller companies might not be able to pay, and the huge ones can be tough to land as your first client. This range is usually the sweet spot, or it turned out to be the sweet spot for me, because they're big enough to have a budget, but small enough to respond to your email if you're reaching out to the CEO. And finally, set the industry to marketing and advertising. When you run these filters, you'll see thousands of results, everyone a real decision maker at the kind of company you want to work with. With a pool like that, at least a few will say yes to the offer we just crafted. Just use the same logic for your own niche and go after it. Now that you've got your list, it's time to write an email that actually gets replies. So let's break down the exact structure I use to write emails that actually book meetings. Writing a cold email is a lot simpler than most people think, which is why I'm still amazed by the stuff that lands in my inbox every single day. I get emails that start by asking about my day, then try to pitch me on building some random app I really did not ask for. Or they send me walls of text explaining every detail of their service, like I have the time to read a novel from a complete stranger. I've honestly seen it all, and after sending millions of cold emails myself, I can tell you none of that works. So let me give you my exact cold email structure, the one I use that does work. This is what I use in every campaign, and it's gotten me thousands of positive responses, so I'm very, very sure it'll get you some too. First, let me cover some cold email ground rules. Keep your emails as short as possible. If you can cut it and it still makes sense, cut it. No one's ever wished for a cold email which was longer. Then skip the pleasantries. Don't ask about their day. Don't introduce yourself. Every extra word is a chance to lose their attention. It's a chance for them to close the email or unsubscribe from your email list or mark you as spam. So get straight to the point and get your offer across while you still have their attention. With that out of the way, you might be wondering, so what does a high reply cold email actually look like? Well, here's the exact structure I use after sending millions of emails and getting thousands of replies. You start off with the opener. So start with something about them, not you. You want to answer the question, why them and why now? This could be as simple as notice you're hiring for sales roles, guessing you're looking to grow. A pro tip from me is you can automate the opening lines with AI, so every email feels personal, even at a massive scale. Then after that, you introduce your offer. As I said, get straight to the point. So in this case, if you're using marketing agencies as an example, I help marketing agencies get 10 qualified sales meetings in 30 days. You only pay if someone actually shows up. Just the result you deliver and how it works is all you need for this line. A third is proof, but you might be wondering, I'm starting out, so I don't have any proof. But if you're starting, don't stress. You might not have case studies yet, and that's completely fine. Your offer is strong enough to stand on its own, but Once you get any results, even small wins, add them right away. It'll increase your response rate, it'll increase your reply rate, it'll increase your conversions on the sales call. It'll just make your life a whole lot easier. And then lastly, the call to action, better known as the CTA, always end with a simple yes or no question. Something like worth a quick chat to see if this could work for you. Don't end your email with something vague like let me know what you think or open to connect. That leaves it open-ended and puts the work back on the reader. Instead, make the next step clear, direct, and easy to answer. And this structure is exactly what gets replies. The best cold emails are clear, specific, and sound like something you'd send to a colleague, not a complete stranger you're trying to sell something to. So stick to this 4-part structure and you'll see more replies, more booked meetings, and a lot less ghosting. When your emails feel human, relevant, and easy to answer, you make it simple for decision makers to say yes, especially if your offer is as good as ours. All right, now that your first emails are out there, this is where the fun begins, because turning those replies into real sales meetings is where the results start to show up. Let's break down exactly what to do when someone responds, so you never miss an opportunity to book a call. It is very important, and I can't stress it enough, to not treat your inbox like an afterthought, because this is where the money is made essentially. It is easy to think cold email is just about sending emails and getting replies, but that's not really the point. As soon as someone responds, they're no longer a cold prospect, they're a real opportunity for you to make some money. I see beginners mess this up all the time. I mean, I did too. They wait too long to reply, send big walls of text to answer a question, or miss the chance to steer the conversation toward a call entirely. So let me tell you what to do instead. Well, first of all, move fast. Turn on notifications, keep your inbox open, and hit refresh every 5 seconds if you have to. Treat every reply like money waiting to be collected. The faster you respond, the higher your chances of turning a reply into an actual client. After sending millions of cold emails, I can tell you that almost every response falls into the same handful of buckets. That's why I rely on reply templates. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. Templates let you respond instantly, stay consistent, and handle volume without sounding robotic. The reality is 95% of replies are the same types of questions. How does it work? Do you have any proof? Can you send more info? If you nail your core responses, you'll save hours and still sound just as sharp. Early on, I wasted a ton of time trying to write one-off answers for every lead. Honestly, it didn't move the needle as much as you'd think. Now, because I sent at such a high scale, I've automated my entire inbox with n8n. When a reply comes in, the lead gets tagged, the message is logged, a relevant template is sent, and if they don't answer, they're automatically followed up with until they say either yes or no. That means leads never slip through the cracks, even if I'm heads down or away from my screen. Bottom line, being quick and responsive gets rewarded when we're talking about cold email. I think when we're talking about everything in life. The money isn't just in sending, it's in how you handle the replies. That's what turns cold prospects into book calls and real clients. Now it's time to turn a book call into a paying client. Here's exactly how to run your first sales call, even if you've never closed a deal before in your entire life. To give you some perspective, let me tell you the very sad story about my first sales calls, because they were honestly very brutal. I'd show up to a call thinking I could just kind of fight my way through it. I'd let the prospect lead, and as a very good boy, I just nodded along to everything that they say, and then I'd talk in circles hoping something would click about my offer on their end. Most of the time, I left the call not even entirely sure what happened, or worse, I'd get hit with the polite and very cliche, let me think about it line, and then obviously never hear back again. It was very frustrating, the 4 or 5 sales calls I had at first. I'd hang up knowing I'd wasted both of our time, but I couldn't really figure out what I was missing. The turning point for me was when I ditched the guesswork and built a real call framework after watching a bunch of videos on how to actually run a sales call. Suddenly, probably not to your surprise, I stopped rambling, started leading, and got actual yeses, sometimes even on the spot. I would describe a good sales call is like a doctor's appointment, you being the doctor that is. You're not there to push pills, but it would be nice to sell some because you get commission. You're asking questions, diagnosing the problem, and recommending the right treatment. If it's fit for them, great. If not, nobody's forced into anything. So how do you actually run a sales call like that? Well, let me break down the exact 5-point framework I use and I wish I'd had from day one. First is open the call low pressure. You want to lower the guard of the person you're talking to right away. I usually kick things off with something like, hey, appreciate you making the time. Let's keep this straightforward. My only goal is to see if this is a fit for you. If not, no worries at all. That is then followed up by the discovery phase. This isn't the time to pitch. It is your chance to actually understand what's happening in their business. I'll ask things like, walk me through your lead generation right now, or what's the main challenge you're hoping to solve. Really listen to what they actually want, not just what you assume that they need. When you pay attention, you'll pick up on the real pain points, the stuff they actually care about fixing. Then 3, connect their problem to your solution. Once you know what matters from the discovery phase, you can simply connect the dots. And you say something like, so based on what you just said, here's how I approach this. Don't go on about every feature, they don't care. Just explain clearly how you solve their specific pain point. Then there will most likely be some objections, so that's what you do after. You ask them if there's any pushback. You get curious, not defensive. So you just simply say something like, totally fair, what's holding you back? And if they ask for proof, which they very well could do on their first sales call, you're just honest and you're just saying, I'm still early days, which is why I'm only charging for results right now. That way there's no risk for you. Once objections are handled, as well as you can handle them, you close with a decision, meaning you won't close the call being confused. So always finish by recapping what you've heard. So just to make sure I've got this right, you want outcome and you're running into pain point. Is that right? If they agree, move straight to the decision. So you'd say something like, cool, want to give this a shot. And if they don't agree, stay low pressure, like you opened the call. No worries at all. Anything else you want to talk through, or do you need more info before deciding? The key is to end every call with total clarity, so nobody leaves guessing about the next step like I did in the beginning. Now, before you ever get on a real sales call, fill in your script with your own offer and your objection answers, then practice it out loud. Record yourself or role play with a friend or have ChatGPT throw some objections at you. The more you rehearse, the more natural it'll feel and the less you'll freeze up when you're actually on a live call. Trust me, those practice reps make your first real conversations way smoother and a lot less stressful. Like I already told you, I know how daunting those first calls can feel, but trust me, it gets easier every time. You don't need years of sales experience, just a simple system and the discipline to practice. Every call you lose is just another rep that gets you closer to an actual yes. If you stick to the framework, you're already miles ahead of where I started. So keep going, I'm sure it pays off. All right, let's bring it all home. Here's the full playbook as a recap, step by step. So step 1 is nail your offer. Make it outcome focused and risk-free, something a business owner can't say no to. Then step 2, set up your tools. Keep it lean, like I told you. Use the bare minimum to send, to track, and to automate at scale. Then step 3 is picking a niche. Get specific. The more focused you are, the easier it is to stand out and to get actual replies to your outreach. Step 4, pull a lead list. Use smart filters in Apollo to find real decision makers, not just a bunch of random emails. Step 5 is write high reply emails. Short, direct, relevant, speak their language, offer real value, and make it easy for them to say yes to your offer. Then step 6 is handle replies like it's money. Move fast, use templates to save yourself some time and some sanity, and always guide toward a call in your replies. Step 7 is run the call like a pro. Ditch the nerves, practice, follow the 5-step script, and keep every call focused on solving real problems, not just only selling whatever you have to sell. Then the part that nobody tells you, this is just a numbers game with the odds stacked in your favor. If you actually play it all the way through, if you send 250 emails a day for just 10 days, that's 2,500 cold emails. Even at a conservative 2% reply rate, you'll still get 50 replies. Out of those, 10 to 15 will be genuinely interested. That means you'll have several real sales calls lined up, and with a solid offer, at least one of those will turn into your first client. Most people send 100 emails, get discouraged, and quit right before things start to work. But if you follow the steps I've just laid out and don't just let up when everyone else does, you literally can't lose at this. The numbers are on your side, so keep sending, keep learning, keep tweaking, and you will win. Now, if you want to copy the exact automations, the exact email scripts and templates I use to sign clients every month, just hit the link in the description and join the school community. You'll get step-by-step workflows, plug-and-play email sequences, and real-time support from people who are actually doing this, not just talking about it on the internet. So if you're the type who wants to figure it out yourself, that's fine. Just start sending, watch some of my videos on how to automate this stuff. But if you want to shortcut your results and avoid the rookie mistakes, the fastest way is inside the community. You'll be blown away by how quickly things move when you have the right systems and people in your corner. Either way, your first client is closer than you think. I want to wish you good luck. And if you want a shortcut, you know where to find me.